All right, I guess that's it. It's beautiful. So it's kind of ugly. Hello, who are you? Who just logged in? Can you write your name in the chat box? Hi, Lizeth. How are you doing? Let's see how this works, eh? Did you have any trouble getting in? Good, good. I'm glad. I'm hoping it would be as easy for the others. I was expecting glitches because it always works that, you know. So, oh, someone else has joined us. Who are you, number 3? Can you log in and let me know? Hey, Jackson. Hello, Yunming. Good. Chu had a little bit of a problem. I just texted her. She should be fine, though, if she uses the link on the page. Can you hear me well? Is there anything that's not working? Is it too loud, too soft? Am I too ugly on a film camera so you just need to cover your screen? Can someone type what they did? Chu's having a problem. She clicked on the link on Canvas and it didn't work. So is that what you all did? Someone help me so I can help her. Someone let me know. Someone let me know. Let me see. I saw the thing. Yes, there is something we need to do today. So you're on Safari. Yeah. Did you just click the link? Somebody, did you just click the link on Canvas and it automatically opened a YouTube page for you? Who just texted me that they're watching me live? Who is this? Oh, Adelina, I don't think you need an account. Did you click on, hey, folks who are doing this, do you all have Google accounts so that you're able to chat or not? Idolina can't chat, she said, because she doesn't have an account. Good. I just texted her that she was on her Google account. Okay. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Billy. I got it. All right. So there's 6 of 21 of you here. Let's give it another like 5 minutes, and then we can just move forward, and I'll do the lecture. It's pretty simple. Oh, who just left? Somebody just left. Yeah, will the person who's left sign in, please, so I know who they are? Oh, I think it was Yunming. So, how did the making scales homework go? Was it good? If y'all could just good chat with me, good. Yes, it was good, or I had a problem, and now we can try a couple of scales and see how it goes. Hmm. Somebody left. Did the scales work for everybody? Good. 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 Hmm. Adelina's still having trouble signing in. So let's give her like another couple of minutes and then we'll just start in, okay? Thanks. Let me see who we have. Has everybody signed into chat? Because I have one extra person here who I don't think signed into chat so that I could get attendance. So I have Lizeth, Yunming, Jackson, Billy. Who else is on right now? Who else is on that hasn't sent something in chat? Yes, that's the cat right there. Cool. I have two other people. Hello, Himanshu. All right. Looks like there should be six. Hmm. So the folks who are here, I have three people who've been texting me who, even though they have Google accounts, when they click on YouTube, it says that they don't have when they click on the link on Canvas, it says that they don't have access to this account. Um, does anybody have a solution for that? Do you know what's going on? Anybody? Hmm. Oh, I know the problem. Yes, I figured it out. Okay, I think we have a solution there. Yeah, they've logged into their Google accounts. Um, okay, got it. Okay, so I think we're actually almost there. Good. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay. Uh, yeah, we got it. We got it. I told them. Uh, they got it. They had to refresh the page, and then the icon came up. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, Sadrina got in. Good job. Chris, Lizeth. Okay. Okay, so there should be one more of you watching this who have not chatted, have not left a chat message because it says that there are 10 people watching, and I have only 8 of you, and I'm one of those 10. So you take me out of it, there should be 9 here, and I only have 8. So I have Lizeth, Yunming, Jackson, Billy, Idolina. Actually, Idolina's not in yet. Himanshu, Chris, and Sadrina. Who else is in who has not live chatted? Because that's the attendance. So I have to be able to do that. All right. Well, I'm going to start. Thank you all for being patient. We're all just figuring it out as we go. Um, hey, cool. A bunch more people just popped in. So for the folks who just popped in, please send me a quick message so that I know that you're in. All right, then that'll be your attendance. Try again. Cool. Log in. The extra 3 people that just logged in. Can you all please send me a chat so I can get your attendance? I got you, Himanshu. Got you. You're already there. Cho, hey, Chu, you got in. Great. Super. All right. Hey, Felicity, you got in. Good. Reina, hello. You got in. Good. Cool. Cool. Then it looks like we're all present and accounted for. Looks like we lost somebody. Um, so let me ask my question again. Did anybody have any problem with doing any of the scales? Anybody? I'll wait until, if you want to type and send, I'll wait a minute or two and then we'll move on and we'll talk about the next thing. Next thing is pretty easy. All right. Good. I haven't heard, so let's start. So now I'm going to have to like write, and then the way we're going to do this is I'll write and then I'll hold it up to the screen. So if you go to your math worksheet, this page. Yeah, I'll go over the scale on B. And then go over on this page, number 2. Okay, and we'll go over that and I'll show you how to do it. So Chu wanted to see the scale on B. So if everybody should have paper and pen or pencil, take some notes, right? So let's start with writing the letters, right? Because step 1 is to write all the letters. So I'm going to write B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay. Are we good? Like that. And you all remember the second step. The second step is to put in the scale values. So we have 1, 1, 1/2, 1, 1, 1, 1/2, like that. Good. Recording of the stream. I think that what will happen, Himanshu, I think what happens is once we're done, the stream's there and you can access it. Should be there. I don't know. I'm trying it out. So you let me know. We'll figure it out. But it should be there if you search for it. So, all right. So now, let's see how we can do this. Let me move this closer. All right. So here's our scale. Okay. Now, B to C, if you notice, let me see. B to C. B, C sharp, D sharp. Okay. So B to C, if you notice right here, is only a half, but it needs to be a whole. So if we go to our piano keyboard, okay. Okay. So B to C is a half, and we need a whole, so we have to go a half more, and that takes us up to C sharp. So what we do then is we go right here, we make this C sharp. Good. Okay. Now, C sharp to D sharp, my bad, C sharp to D is only a half. If you look at your keyboard, C sharp to D is a half. Okay. So in order to add that extra half to make a whole, right, we're going to have to go to D sharp. Good. Everybody good? All right. Now, D sharp to E, I'm not going to hold up the keyboard, you all. You all should have the keyboard, right, in front of you because I passed out the worksheet. So D sharp to E, then, if you put your hand on the black key, which is D sharp to E is a half. And if you notice, we have a half. Good. Now, E to F needs to be a whole, right? Needs to be a whole, but E to F is only a half. So what do we have to do to that F? We have to sharp it. Good. Now, F sharp to G. Boy, that's a terrible G. That's better. F sharp to G. That's even a worse G. Whatever. Let me do this. There we go. F sharp to G now needs to be a whole, and that's only a half, so therefore we have to sharp the G. And you can see that it's just a half right now, so therefore we sharp the A. All right. And then A sharp to B is just a half. So that's how you make a B scale. All right. Chu, did that work out? Does that make sense? Give me a yes or no so that we're clear. Or if you have any follow-up questions, let me know. By the way, for the folks who got in, great. For the folks who got in, I'm missing 2 or 3 people. I want to get the attendance in. So there are a couple of people who haven't given me a chat. Christopher, you're here. Great. Nice to see you. Good. Now I can get you attendance. Anybody else who has not chatted on the right so that I can get the attendance? We have 10, 11, 12. There should be one more person here who's listening in who has not yet chatted on the right, so I don't have their name down. So I don't have their attendance. All right. Let's move on. Okay, so if scales are clear, we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so go to your homework page 2, this one. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So now here's the next thing. Once you've made your scale, whatever your scale is, and it is whatever your scale is, okay? What we do is we actually talk about the degree of the scale. So right here, if we're in a C scale, do you see I've used a C scale for an example? If we are in a C scale, then what we do is when D we describe as the second of the scale. So that's the second note of the scale. Okay. In the C scale, the third note is an E. Okay. In the C scale, the fourth note will be an F. The fifth note is a G. You just count on the scale. All right. And that will tell you then, and we're going to talk a lot about the degree of the scale. So whether we're in the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, whatever, that's going to be the next bit that we need to do in order to do our final project at the end. So if you're not sure how to do it, I always use my fingers and I just do this. If I'm in C, okay, I'll do this. C to D. I always start, you always say the first note's name and then the next notes, however many notes. So C to D, you notice I have 2 fingers. So because I have 2 fingers, that's the second degree of the scale. C to E would be C, D, E. That's my third finger. So that would be 3 fingers, and that's the third degree of the scale. And you can continue to do it that way. If you want the seventh, C to B would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, that's 5 plus 2 is 7. So then you're in the 7th degree of the scale. Is that clear, everybody? Someone give me a yes, I understand that, so I know and I can move on. So we're talking about degrees of the scale, and we're going to use those a lot in music theory. For example, good. Thank you all for responding. It's hard to teach to an empty room. Normally, I can see your faces, so I like, you got it or you don't got it. But I'm teaching to the void. So literally this weekend, I have a performance with a singer in June, May or June. And so I have the music from the 16th century that I'm using, and the composer just tells you which degrees. So he gives you one note, and then he says, use this other degree. And some of the degrees are like the 11th, the 13th, the 15th. So you like, if you start on C, you'd like the 11th is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So I have to count. So I'm sitting there like counting on my fingers to figure out which degree of the scale it is. So that's how they're used. So then I would play a C note and I would play an F note because that's the 11th. So that's kind of how they thought. And that's how people still think. All right. So if you notice on your worksheet, here's the deal. Let me see. There we go. So I want you to take all those scales, and I left you 4 spaces because you were supposed to have made 4 scales on the black notes, on 4 black notes. Okay. And very, very, very simple. What I would like you to do is put in what is the second, what is the third. The third is this one. Okay. If you want to think about the minor third, you can do it because I tell you how many notes it has to be. It has to be a whole tone plus a half tone. Okay, so just figure out what degree of the scale. If I start on C, C to D is a whole tone, right? D to what is a half tone? That would be D to D flat would be a half tone. So if I started on C, the minor third would be a D flat. The major third would just be a D. Okay? So you go back to the scales that you have already made. That was the last homework. And you basically just count the notes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you put them in order. The only difficulty is this minor third. Okay. And I want you to figure out in each scale what is 1.5 notes above a C, right? What is 1.5 notes above a D? So let's look at D real quick. And I'll give you the keyboard. All right. So here we go. If I start on D, right? 1 is to E. 1/2 is to F. Okay. So therefore, the minor third would be 1 and 1/2 tones. Good? Good? Okay. So I want you to put those in and fill in the chart. That's it. And if you made the scales already, if you did all that homework, this should take you about 3 minutes, maybe 5. Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to do is this. At the bottom, and this is me being flaky, it says at the bottom of your worksheet, now, I can't read it because I have mirror writing. It says, now using this chart, please, and then I forgot to write in the rest. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about our next topic then. Okay. So here, what I want you to do, what I never finished, I was at school typing this and I got distracted. So now, using this chart, please make the chords. So I'm going to show you what chords are and how chords are made. So in the music that I play from the 16th century, they didn't have chords. They didn't have the concept of it. It didn't exist. The way they thought about music was they had different melodies. So one instrument would play one melody. Okay, I see your question, Felicity. Let me go back. Let me finish what I'm going to say, and then I'll go back to the minor thing. Okay. So they didn't have any concept of making chords. They didn't have any concept of putting notes together. And all the theorists, what they actually wrote was they wrote the notes that you couldn't play at the same time. And they never wrote what you could play at the same time. They weren't interested. The idea was that you were allowed to play certain notes at the same time, simultaneously. The idea is that, no, let me go back. Sorry, let me re-say that. The idea for them was that you were not allowed to play certain notes at the same time. Outside of that, you could play whatever you wanted. Didn't matter, just as long as you didn't play those ones that they told you couldn't play. All right. Now, what happened around this, really with Bach, but as we're heading into Bach, is they started to say, well, these notes actually sound good together, and these notes sound good together. These ones don't. And they started to come up with all these rules for how to put notes together. And that really happened maybe around 1600. And it came to its final form with Bach, really. And so then they came up with rules for which notes you could play at the same time. Okay. And those are called chords. So any pop song, any folk song, whatever, when you strum an instrument, right, what's happening is you're actually playing a whole, like a guitar, you're playing a whole bunch of notes at the same time and you're making what are called chords. And that happened after 1600. Before 1600, no such thing. Didn't exist. Didn't even have the concept of it. But now every single song on the radio, every single singer plays chords. So what I'm going to do is I'll get the instrument and I'll show you what chords look like, and then we'll talk about how to make them, how to make what the chords are. And it's actually shockingly simple. It will take you another 5 minutes and then your homework will be done. To make the chords for each of these scales, piece of cake. Take you a second. So here we go. Felicity had a question about minor. So the minor, if you notice, a major third. So if we go back to our C scale, see our C scale right there? Let's look at how many tones. So how many tones are there between C and D? There's one, right? Between D and E, there's one. So the third, C to E, that's the third, right? Is 2 tones total. Okay, that's 2 tones. So we would say a third is always 2 tones. All right? No matter what. So if I make a scale on F sharp, okay? That scale would, if I start on F sharp, the first note would be 1 tone along. So I do like this. Sorry about my bad handwriting. Okay, like that. So now I put in my scale. Okay. So F sharp to G sharp is 1. G sharp to A sharp is 1. Do you see? Therefore, a third needs to have 2 whole tones. And you notice F, G, A is 3 notes. So therefore, in the scale of F sharp, A sharp is a third. Right? You just count it. 1, 2, 3. Good. So it's 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, 3 letter names, and a total of 2 tones. So the spaces between the letter names add up to 2. Good. That's called a major scale. Now for a minor, this is a major. I'll write that major. Okay, Felicity. So a minor says you go to the third. Okay. And if you notice, the third is 1 plus 1 is 2. But a minor third, instead of having 2, has 1.5, so you have to subtract 1/2. So on our keyboard right here, on that scale that I gave you, you're on A sharp, which is right here. Okay? When you subtract 1/2, you move backwards. So you move backwards to A, right? Now, F to G is, my bad, where did we start? F sharp, right? F sharp to G sharp is 1. G sharp to A is 1/2. Therefore, this would be the minor third, and A sharp, because it's 2 whole tones, will be the major third. Does that help, Felicity? Give me a heads up if that makes sense. Does that make sense for other folks? Give me a heads up here so I know. Okay, thank you, Chu. Thanks, Felicity. Just count 1.5. Whatever note you start on, count 1 plus 1/2 tones, right? So whatever note you start on, just count 1 plus 1/2. Okay? Till you get up there. Okay, let's do this. Let's try a couple of examples. You guys do it. I want you to tell me what the minor third above, let me see, above E would be. What would be the minor third above E? So count 1 and 1/2 tones. What is 1 and 1/2 tones above E? Someone type it in. If I start on E, so I would have an E scale. What is 1 and 1/2 tones? Now, if you remember, it's G. Thank you, Christopher. If you notice, every next button, every next key counts as 1/2. So this would be 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1 whole plus 1/2 more. So that's 3 halves. So that's 1.5. Okay. So this would be the minor third right there on G. The major third would be a half more, which would be G sharp, because a major third always has to be 2 tones. That's a half, 1.5, 2. So right here on G sharp would be the major third. Okay. Here's another way to think about it. If it's easier, if you don't want to count and all that stuff, you major scales. You just go to the third of the scale and then you take away 1/2 and then you're good. So on our B, our B scale that we made earlier, we go to the third, and if you notice, the third is B, C sharp, D sharp, right? Just go to the third and subtract a half. So what is D sharp minus a half? We go to our keyboard. Here is D sharp right here. Minus a half puts us right back here. So it would be a D. That's not right. Yes, that would be a D. Okay. So if we start at B, the minor third will be D. And that another way to look at it is B to C is 1/2. C to D is a whole. Therefore, it's 1 and 1/2. Good. Felicity, looks like you got it. Excellent. Then I'll do the last bit for the night and we're good, actually. So chords. Okay. So chords are always the same. Basic chords. We have 2 kinds of chords we're going to play. Okay, I'll put this up for you to put in your notes. Okay. So there's 2 kinds of chords. Okay. The major chord is made up of a first, the third, and the fifth. The minor chord is made up of the first, the minor third, and the fifth. So I'll hold it up till you write it down. Okay. So let's go back to our C scale right here. If you notice, the C is the first. So the major chord starts with the first, right? So that means the C is the first. The third is this one. Fourth and fifth. So a C chord would be to play the C, the E, and the G. at the same time. Okay, so okay, so on a C scale, a major chord is the first, the third, and the fifth, the C, the E, and the G. Okay, and the minor chord, the C stays the same, the G stays the same. And if you notice, what I told you was for minor is you subtract a half from the E. So what is, so if we ask ourselves what's E minus 1/2, what do you do when you go down? You flat, right? So that would be an E flat. Okay? And that would be the first, let me write it down. So that'll be the third, the first, the minor third, and the fifth. So what I'd like you to do now is go to your chords that you made before. All right, and on D, so look at your D scale. Okay, and on your D scale, I would like you to make a major chord and a minor chord. So let's do that for practice right now, okay? And I'll get out the instrument and I'll play you the chords so you can hear them. So make those two chords. When you've made them, why don't you type them in? Okay. That way I know you've done it. How are we doing? So very good, Lizette. That would be the D to F to A. Very good. That would be a minor chord because D to F, yep, it would be D, F sharp, A. Hold on, I got to think about it. Let me look real quick. Yeah, let me see. Christopher, I think that's incorrect. So I think it's D, F sharp, D, E, F, G, A, and A. Should just be a straight up A, a normal A. Not A flat. It should be a normal A. Yeah. Good? So good, Lizeth. D, F, and it would be D, F sharp, A. So then what would the minor be? What do we do for the minor? Right? We take the third and we drop a half. So if you have D, F sharp, A, not F flat, because there is no F flat, but it would be D, F, A. You're correct, Lizeth. It would be D, F, A, not D, F flat. Perfect. D, F, A is correct. That would be the minor chord. Lizeth, if you put D, F, so if the chord is D, F sharp, A, right? Then you just take a half away, which means to take away that sharp, and you just have D, F, A. Good? Is that helping? Do you want to do another one? Anybody? If you want to do another one, let me know and we'll do another one. Okay, we'll do one more. Why don't we do, go to your F scale, scale on F. Good. So go to your scale on F that you should already have made and just count the first, the third, and the fifth. And that would be your chord. Okay? Whoa, that's terrible. Let me see what we got here. Good. So I think everybody's in. Remind me what I asked you to do. Oh, an F chord. So, yes, Lizette, that's perfect. What would the minor be? Not G sharp. Remember that G sharp has two names. So the name A has to stay the same. That can't change. But what do we do when we flat the, what I already told you. So what do we do when we take away a half from the A, it becomes A flat, not A sharp, A flat. Remember, we're going to subtract a half. So if you go to the A on your keyboard and then move back one key, that'll take you to A flat, right? Everybody good? Do I need to hold it up? Or, I mean, you all have your papers in front of you. So F, A is the third. So put your finger on the A, which is the third, and then go back a half. And that'll take you to A flat, which is the same as G sharp, but it just has a different name, right? Let me know if this works. Are we good? Ready to move on? Because the scale, let me see, the F sharp scale doesn't have a C sharp in it. The F scale doesn't have a C sharp in it. Okay, Yun Meng, count three. So I'll get back to you, Christopher. Let me go back to Yun Meng. Yun Meng, the minor is very simple. Whatever note you start on, I want you to count 3 keys over. When you go 3 keys over, then you're at the minor. Then you're at the minor third. No matter where you are, count 3 keys over. That is the minor third. So on our thing right here, right? Let's say we start at G. Okay. Up to here is 1/2. That's that. Oh, my bad. Let's do it this way. Count 3 keys over, Yun Meng. That's 1 key, 2 keys, 3 keys. Therefore, B flat is the minor. Done. Let's start on C sharp. 1, 2, 3. There we are. There's the minor. Let's start on F. 1, 2, 3. A flat. That's the minor. That's all you do. You just count 3 keys over. That's better. It's in tune now. So now I'll just give you a little example playing music, and then I think you're good to go. The goal is I want you to make a chord, a major chord and a minor chord. That below part where I wrote, now please do whatever. Now please do this. I would like you to write, what I wanted to write was please make all the major chords and the minor chords for each of those scales. So there should be 11 scales, and you make 22 chords. But once you've written the scales in, it's really just bookkeeping. It's not a problem. So the chords were like this. So there's C, okay, C, and then E. Where am I gonna do E? C, D, E. Let me see. C, D, E, F, G. There's a C chord. And so that's what sounds good together. There's a C chord right there. There's another way to do it. Here's another way to do it. Because this is a C, this is an E, this is a C. So there's a lot of ways to do it. Now, here's my C chord. Here's my C minor chord. So for that third, when you lower it, listen to what you get. You get that sound. So here's a C chord, and then here's the C minor chord. Okay? I asked you to make a D chord, so this is D, A, F. There's the D chord right there. You can do it like that. And all it is the first, the third, and the fifth. Okay? When you play guitar, you play the chords. And that's what people do. They strum the chords to go with their songs. And the chords are first, third, and fifth. Now, if you're playing jazz, it is much more complicated. You might have... They love to throw in, let me go back to my C chord. So I would have a B. So they would do something like this. That would be a jazz chord because they like to throw in the seventh. There would be a jazz. So as you can hear it, if you listen to jazz music, that is a very typical jazz chord. Because what they do is they play the first, third, fifth, and seventh. And when they throw in the seventh, you get that sound. There's the jazz chord. My bad. I missed the third. So there's the jazz chord. Doesn't that sound like jazz? So anyway, that's the way it works. So just to recap, I want you to fill in that chart with all the different degrees of the scale. If you already wrote your scales, you're just transferring them into the chart, except you have to compute the minor. Then down below, just make each of the chords. That's all. And the way you make the chords is you take the first degree of the scale, the major third of the scale, and the fifth of the scale. The first degree of the scale, the minor third, and the fifth. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Because that's all I got for you tonight. Wednesday, we're going to do something complicated. So all of this so far has just really been to teach the language. Here are the terms. This is how it works. Then on Wednesday, we're actually going to do something that'll be relatively difficult to do. It'll be complicated. So, no, the black keys are not always the flats. So if you start, the good question, if you start, for example, at E, right? Good question. So if you start at E right here, okay? E to F is 1/2. F to F sharp is 1/2. F sharp to G is the other half. So actually E to G, which we're both on the white keys right there, E to G would be the minor. E to G sharp would be the major. Does that help there? Let me see. Sadrina, does that help? So honestly, the blacks will often be the flats, but not always. Okay. If we start on, so you have to tell me, Sadrina, where you're confused. Because tell me which part is not working, and then I can help you out. You got her? Okay. When we did the F scale, let's make an F scale. Hold on a second. Let me put this away, and then I'll make an F scale, and then we'll do it. Okay. So to make an F scale, first thing we do is we write down all the notes, okay? So we have F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So write that down. Everybody good? Now we're going to put in the values. By the way, if you already know what the assignment is and you're good to go, we will see you on Wednesday at class time. Good? If you have any further questions, I'm here to take your questions. Good? All right. So now here's our, I put in the scale amounts, right? So F to G is 1. That's good. G to A is 1. That's good. A to B is not 1/2. So A to B, do you have your keyboard in front of you, everybody? Okay. So that would be a B flat. Okay, because A to B flat is 1/2. Now B flat to C is definitely 1. C to D is 1. D to E is 1. And E to F is 1/2. So therefore, this is our scale on F. Okay? Good. Now, Sadrina, our chord will be made. Let's look at major and minor. This is a major scale, right? What do we do with the third? So F to G to A is the third. So in order to make a minor, what do I have to do right there? What do I do at that point? I subtract 1/2, right? So if you go to your keyboard, we are on A right there. Now, if I'm on A, right, I have to, the letter A has to stay the same. That's not going to change, right? But I have to go 1/2 less. So I'm on A, and 1/2 less is right up here. That's this black key. Now this black key has 2 names. The names are A flat and G sharp. Remember, that was from the beginning. That black key has 2 names, A flat and G sharp. Since we have to maintain the letter name of A, this is an A flat. If we had to maintain the letter name of G, it would be a G sharp. It's tomato, tomato. It's just, you say it differently depending upon the situation. So since we have to have A as our letter name, this is an A flat, and that would be the minor. Okay? So if you want, we could do it this way. we could say that this right here is the minor scale because we still have exactly the same F, G. The third changes. That's the only thing that changes. Everything else stays exactly the same. F, G, then the B flat, C, D, E, F stays the same. The only thing that changes is that A flat. So if we're going to make a major chord, we take the first, which is the F, the third, which is the A, and the fifth, which is the C. So this chord would be F, A, blurry. Let's try it again. F, A, C, right? If we did a minor chord, we would have F, then A flat, because we have to take the third and go back a half step. B flat, C. So it'd be the same. F, A flat, C. That would be the minor chord. Is that making sense, Sadrina? Absolutely. And you have to keep the letter name. So if a third is an A, like in this case, the third was an A, that A is not changeable at all. Now it could be an A flat, it could be an A sharp, or it could be an A natural where you don't change it. But that A is not negotiable. Flatting it, sharping it, etc., that's negotiable and that will change. Okay? Are we good? Is everybody good? Do we want another example or are we doing okay? Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, you guys have a good couple of days. All right. And good. Uh, you're welcome to go. We will see you on Wednesday. And for those of you who are in the other class, I'll see you on Tuesday. So tomorrow, same time at 4:30, we'll log in and I can answer any questions you might need. All right. And we can go from there. Good. Excellent. You guys have a good couple of days. Wednesday's fun. That's when we're going to use all of this to do something pretty complicated. All right. And I'll talk a little bit more um, about music and music history because there's a lot. Then it gets super interesting. Yeah, it'll say, Felicity, good question. It'll be YouTube. Yeah, 100 for 100. I'll see you tomorrow at 4:30 and I'll cover any questions you might have. Okay. And then for what I will do is on Wednesday, though, I'll probably talk way too much because then it's interesting. And then it's about kind of the history of music and all the mysteries surrounding it. Okay, it'll be more general. And then I'll do the test prep. And just the test prep's pretty straightforward. If you can make scales and you can make chords, you will pass the test. That's it. For 100 and for yeah, it'll be the same, Felicity. I'm going to put the link. So what I'll do is just every day I'll go on Canvas and I'll put the link on for your next class, okay? So you'll just go on Canvas, click the link, and it will let you in. Is that good? So I'll put that in tomorrow morning and it'll be good to go by the time you get there. All right? Excellent. Good. Any more questions? I noticed there's still 6 of you there. Are we good? Yeah, everybody good? All right. Good night, everybody. Good night. I'll wait till you all log off so I'm not rude. All right, I'm going to log off. Good night, everybody.